Hello, spiritual seekers. It's Sid here, your spiritual muse. You can find me at Crystals of Quartz on Instagram. If you like these videos, please subscribe. I love making them and I want to make more of them for you and I want to share them with more people. You guys really help me keep learning and I want to keep learning with you guys and teaching you things and being taught by you. So today we're going to talk about the next full moon, which is the full moon in Libra on April 7th at 10:34 p.m. And so Libra is the sign of balance and harmony. It's the scales, right? So then full moons are about not only fulfillment, because it's the end of the cycle, it's when your manifestations from the new moon should have come to fruition. It's also a time to think about release. So you want to think about how much you've gained and be grateful for that, but then also think about what you could let go of in order to make room for more. Because in order to have more abundance in our lives, sometimes we have to let go of things that aren't serving us. So I call you to think about the things you want to release at this time. So this is actually called the pink moon, but it's actually going to really look like a golden color, not really very pink in color, but it's called the pink moon because of a flower that blooms in North America around this time called moss pink. It's beautiful. I'll probably put a picture of it on this video so that you guys can see it. It's just a really pretty pink flower. But the moon is going to be gold. Still beautiful. It's going to be extra big actually because it's a supermoon and it's going to be the largest supermoon in this particular series of supermoons that started in March. This is the largest in April and then there's another one in May. Still very nice moons, but they're not quite as large as this one. So definitely try to go outside on the evening of April 7th because it's going to be here on the East Coast full at 10:34 p.m. So if you go out at night, you're going to see it big and beautiful in the sky. And it's going to be at its largest at 10:34 p.m. So if you can go out around then, that would be a really cool time to do a little ceremony and think about what you want to release. You can even talk to the moon if you don't have neighbors super close by that'll think you're weird. And yeah, so what else is going on with this moon? So the sun is in Aries at this time, right? We got the moon in Libra and the sun in Aries, and those are opposing each other, right? Because when we have a full moon or a new moon, when the moon is at its peak, the sun is going to be opposite of it, right? So this is about this is going to be about the self and independence. And that's what Aries is all about. And then we also have the moon in Libra, which is about working together. And it's also about balance, right? So this is going to be about finding our balance between independence and relationships. So at this time, I'm not exactly sure where we're going to be at with the whole quarantine by the time this happens, because I'm actually filming this video on the Aries new moon, which was on March 24th, if you're watching this in the future. So I'm not really sure where we're going to be with the quarantine, but it's kind of making us go inward and think more about ourselves. But then we might also be at home with some loved ones. We might be thinking about relationships that are far away, people that we're having to Skype with, and all these ways that we have to digitally kind of interact with people, maybe writing letters, things like that. So it's going to really bring up these struggles with relationships and the balance between thinking of ourselves and thinking of others. At this time, maybe even the world as a whole, right? Maybe if you haven't been self-quarantining, maybe you want to think about doing that and getting indoors so that you're not endangering the other people around you, right? And maybe, you know, that's an issue for you at this time too. Maybe at this time, if we're still quarantining, maybe you're sick of it and you want to get out. But you're dealing with this conflict internally with that. So it can be a difficult thing to be stuck in a routine that you're not used to. So I urge you to kind of use this time to best suit you and your needs. And hopefully, maybe, you know, by April 7th, things are starting to get better. Maybe people are going back to work. I don't know, right? I'm just reading an astrological chart. So I'm not entirely sure on that. Now, what else is going on? We have the moon square Jupiter, and this can bring about conflicts with our own purpose and trusting others, right? So It can really be about where we're going with our lives. This time of stillness may have brought up a lot of different feelings for us, and they're going to come to sort of a head now. It's going to get really extra difficult. Maybe we're going to have relationship problems that are coming up again. It's just kind of all flowing into the same thing. All the signs I'm seeing are kind of relating to this big picture. And we also have Mercury sextile Jupiter, which is going to be a little bit more of a positive influence. It's going to bring about an open-mindedness and a curiosity, and it's going to make us a little more tolerant of others. So if we've been kind of like getting into fights with others with our relationships, this is going to maybe possibly help with that and help us to understand where they're coming from and their perspective. Because Libra is really about win-win. So this is coming into play again with Mercury, the planet of communication, reminding us to really try and have good communication so that we can all get along at this time when we need to come together. Then we also have Pluto and Jupiter conjunct in Capricorn, and that's going to help us to discover our natural talents in order to achieve our goals. So this is a great time that we've been sort of sitting back and looking inward at ourselves, figuring out the things that we're really good at and the things that we like to do, and maybe then thinking about our goals for the future. And maybe we've already seen some of these goals coming true with all this free time that we have. And then we also have Venus in Gemini, which is all about communication and talking to our loved ones. So at this time, if you haven't been calling your loved ones, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, I definitely urge you to do that. And it's going to make it kind of an easy communication. So this is another aspect or another thing that's going on that's going to make sort of our moon squared Jupiter conflicts with the relationships, and the Libra moon squared the Aries sun. It's going to make the relationships sort of a little bit easier. So maybe we're releasing tension in relationships now at the time of this full moon. And if we are having tensions, we want to focus on releasing tensions in relationships especially. And then we also have Chiron in Aries, which Chiron moved into Aries on February 18th. And this is a rather long transit. It is going to be in Aries until 2027. So this is going to bring about resiliency in us and a quick healing. So during this whole time, anything that comes up, we're going to be able to heal through it quickly. We're going to be able to feel really strong, and we're going to be able to move on, and we're going to power through anything that does happen at this time. So that's positive as well. Although it's not to say that there aren't things that are going to come up, right? Like the virus, things may indeed happen. And then we also have Mercury and Neptune in Pisces, which is going to really heighten our senses. We had a transit, I believe it was around the 3rd of April. This is in the future, so I'm talking past tense, future tense, but at the time you're watching this, it was April 3rd, and it's going to really make us wonder what is real and what is illusion, right? But at the time of this full moon, those things are going to be becoming more clear. So secrets might be coming up, dishonesties or accidental dishonesties may be coming to the surface, and we're kind of realizing what's real and what's make-believe, that kind of stuff. And what is just, the panic that's been happening and what is actually real is going to be coming to the forefront at this time. And we also have Mars trine Venus, and that's going to bring about a desire to be social or maybe even date. Now, if we're still in quarantine, dating is going to be a little bit hard, but we do have online dating. So why not start to develop something? And if you are feeling like you really want to get social at this time, why not talk to friends on Skype? Why not call up those family members that you love? Why not, just find a way to communicate with people in a more virtual kind of way? Maybe join an online group, that sort of thing. It's definitely a time where you're going to feel extra social, and you're going to be very charming, and you're going to be charmed easily by others, so you can have good friendships and even love interests develop around this time. And it's also going to make you feel really beautiful. And if you reach this time and you don't feel beautiful, give yourself a little makeover, whether it is going out and getting one, or if we're still in quarantine, staying in and doing something nice for yourself. It can be a really great time for that. And then we also have Venus trine Saturn, and that can bring about this simpler life, And then this whole crisis is bringing people together, right? So this is sort of like the positivity of that happening. So the loving feelings of this community are coming together, this sort of worldwide community, which I know right now I'm definitely feeling, and I hope you are too. I hope that it just continues to get better by the time this full moon happens, and I think that it will. There's going to be a huge sense of community that we're all feeling and this solidarity because we're all in this together, right? This crisis has really brought everyone together. We're all trying to help each other. We're staying indoors to help each other. We're doing all sorts of things to help each other right now. And then the only other sort of difficult aspect we have is that Mars is also square Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus, and we all know Taurus is notoriously a stubborn sign. So there's going to pop, and Mars is, you know, the warrior. So we're going to have some interesting stuff going on, possibly, again, with the relationships, with all of that going on. And basically it's going to be a slightly difficult time, I believe, during this full moon, but if we can work with those positive aspects, if we can really be cognizant of our communication, if we can really be reaching out to people, it's a really good time for that too, and just releasing any issues that we have and maybe just not making it a big issue, if you have the ability to stop that. So overall, the themes of this full moon are harmony and balance. And I do believe that we're coming into harmony and balance, right? But we really need to care for our fellow humans, our friends, our loved ones, and just really take care of not only ourselves, but others as well. And making sure that you are taking care of yourself at this time too. It's really important right now to care for yourself and those around you, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this full moon video. If you liked it, please subscribe. I do film a lot of astrological videos, but I also film other videos in the spiritual realm. So if you have any other suggestions, please let me know and I would be happy to film them for you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Sid, your spiritual muse, and I look forward to our next meeting. Stay safe.